Alright, let's have a look at the upgrades I've put on my R18. I've been fine-tuning them for a long time. So this is how I get 2 minutes 30 seconds is my average time on circuit. So you can see a bunch of my stats have been brought up by a lot. In stock, the R18 goes to about 380 k's an hour as a top speed, which is not that great, because usually in the straights you want to be going above 400 without boost, because you save quite a lot of time. It's in the home stretch and then under the tunnel as well. So for this one I used the flex plates in gold, 3 of them to get speed and acceleration, and then I used the exhaust manifolds primarily to get the benefit from the boost, because when you pair it up with the boost canisters in your nitrous, it gives you way more power. So we got the speed from the flex plates and from the exhaust manifolds, giving us the 421 k's an hour as the extra speed, and then I've got some twin turbos to give us a little bit more speed, top speed, and then we got the quad turbos for the rest. These also have a big impact on how much boost you can gain from nitrous, which was a bit weird. I don't know why they're related as much, but they are, and they do provide a significant amount of extra acceleration. I've been considering swapping out one of these exhaust manifolds for an cold air intake to improve the acceleration, but then our top speed would drop significantly, significantly at least in the race. Then we've got a gold steering wheel and then 2 slick front tyres to give us extra traction in the corners, so we can take corners sharper at higher speeds without flipping over or drifting. And the rest are off-road tyres, so then we can boost out of the corners with more ease. I haven't used the stock tyres because I like to use these to control the ratio of front to rear grip better. And then we've got the nitrous split. I've just got 3 duration, 3 boost to pair up with the exhaust manifolds and then 1 refill. I find this split for this car gives me a perfect amount of boost when I need it when it's full, and then the refill is just enough alongside the default refill rate to give me more boost out of particular corners on the circuit track. So this build is what I would call optimal for this car. Now, knowing me, yes, I have been tweaking the offset of the wheels. Sometimes it will reset, so you need to fiddle with it to get it back to where it was, otherwise it'll just go back to the default. Camber I've left alone. I have experimented with camber and acceleration, how it impacts having more traction and acceleration, but when you're actually in circuit, you hit bumps and you flip way more easily with more flat traction, like more straight wheels. But having more offset would just mean your car is more stable. Use those tires and still Tennessee Venom F5 Roadster. This one I use primarily for cross country, especially the global queues, because it's got a default high speed, so then I can focus on its acceleration and handling for use on track. It does a pretty good circuit time as well, but still not as good as the R18, so I reserve the R18 for circuit. But I'll happily use the Roadster for that as well if I have to. So let's go through those upgrades. So by default, the top speed is just over 500, I believe. So what I've done is I've done all cold air intakes for the engine parts. Boost is not as big a priority, so I've gotten rid of any boost assist parts. For go inventory, we can go speed, and I have hit personal land speed records of something like 695 kilometers an hour in this car using gold parts. And yeah, I could get higher top speeds, but only be really useful for races like highway, which I usually don't touch because it's a low earning race. So I've only been doing air filters for that. Don't ask me how much money I spent on the tuning kits. For this, I've done a twin turbo at the start, because if you mix up parts in some areas on some cars, they give you a particular extra advantage. I'm not sure why that is, but it doesn't specify it as much in the how to play guide, and there's not much on YouTube to figure out why either. I think it's because it's a fresh update, people are still figuring it out. So I've done 4 quad turbos and 2 twin turbos for that. It's boosted my acceleration considerably. I think it would be in the 80%ers, maybe even early 90% of acceleration, so that's really, really good. Considering its top speed, it would take longer to get there, but it's still really, really good. For brakes, it's the same setup as my R18. Tyres, the turning circle is already really tight on this car, so upgrading the handling through just the tyres was good enough. And having 2 slicks at the front and then 4 at the back means that I can aggressively take corners, and then if I'm at a certain speed, there's a sweet spot that allows me to drift a little bit around corners. So in the start of cross country, I can take corners really aggressively and not have to worry about losing traction. And then the rear wheels just mean that when I accelerate out of a corner and then straighten out and use my boost, I can maximize my use of that and then get back to my higher end speeds or higher gears sooner before taking the next corner, so I save time. Brakes we've done, tyres we've done. Nitrous setup is mostly duration and then 3 boost. Duration alongside a bit of boost just means that I can, in the straights for cross country, get to a higher max speed sooner. So far with boost, I've gotten it to 625 with this setup, kilometers per hour, and then the boost will run out. That's pretty good for the long straights, but if I use my R18, I can get it to about, I think it was I'm just guessing, I think it was about 550 top speed with boost, but it goes away more quickly because there's less duration canisters. Suspension setup is the same, nice and wide, but I haven't touched the camber or the height I have touched for cross country. Just raised the rear a bit, just to give me a bit more give when it gets bumpy, because there's a lot of off-road. But I haven't touched the camber because it lets me mount curbs a lot more easily. And then drivetrain is all-wheel drive as usual, because you get better traction, and then better grip, so better acceleration. So yeah, that's the setup for the 2023 Tennessee Venom F5 Roadster. Oh, love it, you. There's that drifting. lost a bit of time there. It was really sensitive time, needs to get undone.